Sanguna take Isungwarata.
We have actually started off with.
Alright, viewer, good morning to you. This is Rhino TV. You're most welcome to the Boom Sports, the first edition for probably the year or the maiden, if I may say, the start of or the pioneer show that you will ever have. And it is going down to history. We welcome you to the Rhino TV Boom Sports from this very hour. We are a little bit sorry that it all happened, a kind of delay for at least 10 minutes, but I'm sure that is so forgivable. We appreciate you for always being able to move up, probably follow us. Remember, we all started this like there was Rhino TV, then there was Westnile TV. So the two actually have come together to make it bigger and probably the biggest in the whole country, the online TV that ever will bring for you your best show. KIMNAZZ Atenga for the people remains my name, and I am together with my man Walter Bazali. I know many of you will probably call him Walter Bazagli, but I prefer calling him Walter Bazali. He's an Italian, but a Ugandan Italian, if I may say. Welcome to the studio, and it is Rhino TV.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to be here, and it feels nice. It's always good to be with you on set.
You're looking smart. I'm sure this is probably the first time somebody is appreciating you this much. But anyway, the truth is you're looking good. Otherwise, we thank you very much. We are in for the Boom Sports. It will be running your way every single Monday to Friday. And also on Saturdays, we'll be bringing for you the same. But this time it will be the weekend edition when it comes to the Saturdays. But today it will be Monday. It's probably a very beautiful morning. And we would love to say that you can get to the Rhino TV Facebook page, and you can also find us on YouTube and probably drop in your questions, or in case you have comments, just drop it there and search Rhino TV. You will be able to catch us live. And in the Boom Sports today, we have quite a number of talking points, but we are all starting it with Olympics. As we all know, the Olympics, the countdown continues. Only 21 days today, D-Day, and a lot of talk is being done as far as Uganda's chances of coming up with a medal is concerned. Quite a number of big name athletes or stars have actually gone on to qualify and probably represent the country, that is the Republic of Uganda, and we continue to pray that things work on so well. But here with Walter Bazali, I also want to probably understand from him what are the chances of Uganda. First of all, after some years, Olympics are finally coming to fruition, if I may say, and it's all going down just in 21 days time.
Yeah, the COVID had an impact on it a little bit. It was pushed, and in Japan, surely it's going to take place. As you've mentioned, the general outlook, from especially the Ugandan perspective, we're looking at what are our medal chances. 10,000 we have medal chances, 5,000. Mofar is not in the race.
Yeah.
He retired, tried to come back, he didn't make the comeback. So it leaves the two Ugandans from Kapchorwa side.
Joshua Cheptegei, yes, and Jacob Kiplimo. Okay.
Have opportunity of probably bringing Uganda accolades. We are looking at the national anthem being sung in Japan. I think that's where Uganda's biggest prospects are for the medal. But you don't forget also we have 800 meters. Naiga is a potential world champion. She's
Alima Nagai, yes, Nagai did great.
Yes, in 800 meters. She did take some world championship home. The other day she had some few runs where she came, no recovering. She had a second best run, and I think that's another medal prospect for Uganda. What about our own from Westnile, Shidalen, who got a wild card to participate? You know, she has the 41st fastest run in her race, that is 400 meters. She gets the opportunity to race in Japan. What if something happens and she would be probably, if she does her training, she has time. If she trains well and beats the 51 mark, probably we should be seeing another medal bracket for Uganda. The last time Uganda participated in the short races, I think was just in Belgium.
Yeah, 13 years back.
13 years back, another Ugandan going there. And the Ugandan happens to be from our own side. I think I'm very proud she's there. And she might, you never know. The first time Usain Bolt went to the Olympics or World Championship, he didn't do anything. He was a nobody. Shida Leni might be the next opportunity for us, might be the next Davis Kamuga, because the best Ugandan ever in the short races to have created an impact and won a bronze medalist in any international event was Davis Kamuga. We hope, and I have some prospects. Maybe she could be another chance for medal. What about Musagala in 1,500 meters? You never know, but Uganda's biggest medal hopes are in the 5,000 race and in the 10,000 race.
Before we move off from the Shida Leni talk, probably there was one, the Dorcas Njikuru, who showed a very good glimpse of what she can do on a very good day. Probably a lot of talk was actually done, but trust me, things never worked out so well, according to me anyway. Maybe, I don't know how you perceive the whole thing. She actually was so good in the 3,000 steeplechase, which she won, but things turned out, she didn't make it to Olympics. Maybe many thought she would actually go on and on and on to represent the country even more and probably do better and win us medals in Olympics, but that didn't come through. Are we not going to see the repeat with Shida Leni?
I think it was a question of management, how her management took care of her, and her going out at when she was at her prime was due to natural factors. We all know what happened. Okay, there was a story of her getting sinuses. Eventually, it turned out to be an issue of pregnancy. So I think, but I've seen athletes who have come out of pregnancy and have done it. Unfortunately for her, she tried to come back. It didn't work out very well for her. I don't think this repeat can happen with the likes of Shida Leni. I think there's been good management. The way the Kevin family has handled the Shida scenario, I think we were able to see the best out of her. I don't think the Dorcas Njikuru scenario, when she was at her helm and we expected more medals and things went south. With the current crop of athletes and especially the female athletes, I don't think this calamity, in my own opinion, would happen again.
How much will the COVID affect Team Uganda as far as the Olympics is concerned? Because if we talk about Olympics now, we're going to generalize. There's boxing, where Uganda also is going to be represented.
I think it's the athletes. Of course, we have had a couple of cases of teams, Ugandan teams who have trouble outside, and COVID cases are there. It's upon the individual athletes to take care of themselves. At the same time, maintain the SOPs. 1, 2. Keep yourself fit. Maybe take the vaccination where necessary, so that when the time reaches for you to travel and be there, you're surely safe. After the test and all that, you're safe for the rest. I'm sure the pandemic has changed a lot of things, especially when it comes to travels and testing. But if you keep yourself safe, follow the SOPs, get the vaccination where necessary, I'm sure our Ugandan athletes will make it. And the beauty is they're moving in phases. They're not all going at once.
Quite interesting, and actually Walter Mazali thinks Uganda stands a very huge chance of winning medals in the forthcoming Olympics, which is getting underway just in 21 days time. Remember, there are some African countries who are also going to be participating, but this time round we're talking about football, where you'll have Egypt under the of course a very good management, as we all know, the young team that actually is being represented, and of course we have crop of experienced players like Mo Salah, who are actually been brought into the side, but the talk still continues. Like Ivory Coast will have Ahmad Traore or Ahmad Diallo. He's actually called Traore, but many now call him
Manchester
Diallo because
United
he just said his name, the Manchester United boy, who actually represented Atalanta in the Italian Serie A before moving to Manchester United. So that tells a lot of things that are going to be happening in the forthcoming Olympics. But a twist away from that, though still within football, I want us to look at football in West Nile. Right now, you have two teams that are going to be in the Startimes Uganda Premier League from West Nile. From West Nile and Arua in particular. And this is the first of its kind in the history of West Nile, by the way. We have seen two teams in the West Nile representing in the same league, that is the top tier, the Uganda Premier League. 2-3 seasons ago, we did see by the Black Angels, then we did see Onduparaka Football Club in the same league. But this time round, we are talking about Arua as a city having two clubs, all from the same city and represented in the Premier League. This has never been there before in the history.
Yeah, this this is a rare precedence. Of course, when you trace back to the history, you'll talk about the youngsters in the league that are known by the as Arua Municipal Council. That was when from 1992 to around 1994, where they relegated. Then you'll talk about the likes of Arua Central. You talk about the Arua Municipal Council, which later came on. I mean, you'll talk about this transition of teams. You talk about Moyo Town Council, by the way, was also another team which made it through. The teams have come. Then the teams have come, but they have come in patches, you know. But there has never been two teams from the same region. Paida was a little bit outside. Two teams in the same vicinity, within the city for now.
Correct.
Arua city. So you have one in. Actually, all of them should be in Nile West.
Yeah.
One is in Nile West, one is in the central city.
Yeah.
So from the same city, but just two different locations. I think there will be. It's going to be what we will call the Argentine league, where you have
the bomboneras. Okay.
Maybe ours, I don't know what we shall call it.
Maybe the Westnile bombonera version, or maybe something.
A version of something. But for me, the beauty is it has created a lot of euphoria around it.
Yeah.
And we are yet waiting to see how it will fan out.
What does this mean, both positive and negative, to the football development in West Nile? I'm talking about Arua Hill being in the Premier League, and Onduparaka Football Club also being in the Premier League. What does this mean to other teams as well within the region?
One, it means exposure of talent. Two, it means the teams, both teams will be fighting for the prestige. Who owns the city? Like when you take the European version in England, the red side and the blue side, or the Merseyside derbies.
Yeah, the Everton, Liverpool kind of stuff.
So for us, it will be who owns the city. Will the city be painted red, or the city will be painted green?
Okay.
That will be where the battle is. In terms of building of the game, we know the financial muscle probably will come from Arua. They will recruit probably the best of the cream. Then the likes of Onduparaka, who are not, I don't think they don't have the same martial strength like Arua Hill, will try to recruit from the region. And this will, for me, create more competition, more exposure for the boys.
Okay.
And for me, that is where the thing will be. It will be about the quality of football vis-a-vis the euphoria around it. Now, the town is now, I think the city is divided. They are the red side of the city and the blue side. So what's the bragging right? Which player wants to be where? Who will show off? That is in terms of, for me, to be there's going to be a huge growth of talent from the region. Secondly, in terms of business is going to grow, but also, especially merchandise sales on those days. Yeah. Identity factor is there. But what is more important at the end of the day is West Nile comes together as one.
I want us to talk about the fan base. Where do the fans go? Is it still good football that attracts? Is it going to be the money, like you said? Is it going to be a kind of, okay, which club was first? What exactly are we looking at here as far as the fan base and the support to the game is concerned?
It is based, there are two things. There's the passion and identity.
Okay.
So whoever has the identity will get the biggest fans. And that comes with the history. This is my personal perspective. I think a lot of people still associate themselves with Onduparaka a lot based on history.
Yes.
But there's emergency of Arua Hill. Now, this emergency will also come with a certain factor that there's a group which will come with new changes. Precisely to talk about this will come when the D-Day comes. Which team will paint the town most? That is one. Two, we are people associate a lot with success. The most successful team, I think in the long run, will have the biggest number of fans. But also remember, the emergence of Arua Hill, for me, is going to be another strength for Onduparaka. That's a threat for Arua Hill.
Okay.
It could be a threat for them.
You can explain, probably digest that better.
Yes, the emergency of Arua Hill will be a threat for Onduparaka. So Onduparaka want to prove themselves. In the process of wanting to prove themselves locally, they're going to strengthen themselves, and you're going to see something bigger and better. For me, that is where the beauty now comes, that there are two bulls in the kraal. Who wants to be the owner of the kraal?
Wow.
That is where the question
quite interesting. Remember, you're getting all this from the Rhino TV, just established within established within Westnile, and you can find us within Ochiba Coastal Town. And in case of any adverts that you want to run with Rhino TV, by the way, you can access us in the office just within the Ochiba Coastal Town, and of course opposite the junction. If you can just reach next to the junction, you'll be in position to locate Rhino TV and probably advertise with us and get to boom your business like this Boom Sports is telling you. KIMNAZZ and the man Walter Bazali telling you all this very morning. Of course, still within Westnile, there was a rumor that hotly came last night about Charles Livingstone Baba's returning to Westnile. I don't know how true that one is, but then in football, a rumor is always a rumor until it is proven. And a lot of papers or tabloids within the region and even beyond are already telling you that Charles Livingstone Baba's could be returning to Arua, and this time round in the red half, and that is where Arua Hill Sports Club is. How do you treat this rumor?
When you connect the dots, it could be valid.
Okay.
When you try to fix the connections, when you try to bring the jigsaw together, it gives you a small picture, a small hint. This could be a chance of a possibility. But I want to say, effective 1st July, the transfer period is open, speculations are open, irrespective of whether coach or player. And Mbabazi said the other day when they were interviewing him for the national team, that there's a rumor you might be heading back to Westnile. He said it's transfer season, anything is open.
Okay.
Now, bringing it down to our level, look at the scenarios. Let us start connecting it. A couple of managers at Arua Hill FC have had a good cordial relationship with the Mbabazi. The PRO has been close to Mbabazi. The CEO has been close to Mbabazi. On Paka's best runs in the league, where when these three people are working together.
After Tony, the CEO.
The CEO of
Otelun Vegas, the PRO.
And they've all had close relationships. Leave that at the management, apart from management level. Let us cross to the players. Muhammad has been a handbag of Mbabazi. Rajab Kakoza, Oscar Gaba, Anyama. He went with Anyama to Wakiso. He went with Muhammad to Mbarara. He went with Kakoza to, I think, Wakiso. Now look at this. There has been a link between Arua Hill and Bida Ezra. He went with Bida Ezra to Chetume. Aren't you seeing the dots coming together?
Does that tell that Solomon Okwalinga might be on his way to Arua as well?
To Arua, he might even pick Mukundani. We will never know. Okay. He has always picked the good players he comes with. Solomon Okwalinga was once here. Actually, he went with Solomon Okwalinga to Mbarara. You never know, he might return to Arua Hill. So when you start connecting the dots together, the two men at management worked with him, a couple of his players, and it is said somehow he had an influence in the players coming to Arua Hill, in the corridors of power. Okay. It is always said like that. But also you think the two managers, Mbalagu and Mbabazi, have a history of having worked in Somalia together. Didn't they have chats together?
I was about to ask you a question.
As a writer and an analyst, I try to I try to connect these joints together. What picture comes up at the end of the day? Mbalagu has taken Arua Hill to the league. The probably owners of Arua Hill want success. Where does the success come? You have the resources, you're looking for a good coach, and when you look at the Ugandan setup, honestly, one of the fantastic coaches is Mbabazi in the Ugandan setup. And history has it. His first spell on Mbaraka, fantastic. His second spell, he came on Mbaraka, was struggling, they finished respectable. He left Mbarara when Mbarara was doing very well. After that, things went south for Mbarara. The other day, he came when Mbarara was sitting 12th on the log. Changed a couple of things. Mbarara is almost, Mbarara is in the top 8 in the league. That shows you how good he is. He is not an assistant coach at the national level by chance. The results show. So as the owner of Arua Hill, you would want such kind of quality. And I can challenge you in the Ugandan league, mention 5 other coaches who have delivered quality by show.
Probably you talk about Mike Hilary Mutebi, you talk about Abdallah Mubiru. Yes, I mean, these are some of the few that you can easily mention. But I can tell you, still picturing right from your talk, What has Hussein Balangu done wrong to deserve never to be on the touchline for Arua Hill in case next season comes too soon and probably he becomes in?
But in terms of qualification, Mbalagu has a better qualification than Livingstone Mbabazi. Mbalagu is a CAF A holder. Livingstone Mbabazi is a CAF B holder in terms of coaching license. So in terms of qualification, Mbalagu is more highly qualified than Livingstone Mbabazi. It zeroes down to the interests of the club ownership. We have known Mbalagu has been in charge of Arua Hill. They haven't lost a game. In the entire season, they played the big league. That is big credit to him. I do not think at this point it's about him. Surely if you need to reward him for having taken the team to the highest level, for having won all his games. He set a target, achieved this target. You would think Mbalagu is the right man. But what are the ambitions of the ownership of the club? Surely, I don't think you just dispose of him. He's going to be part of the coaching team, I believe, if the changes do not come. But it's about the management. It's about their interest. You shouldn't be surprised if they would say probably Arua Hill at one point was even interested in a Mike Mutebi Hillary, because he's a free agent.
I actually had a one-on-one. I actually had a one-on-one with Mike Hillary Mutebi, and he clearly stated that if the club can give him what he wants, and then the structure is already okay. He loves the hierarchy. I think he's already hinting, or probably dropping a hint, that he could be one person actually to be the transfer, tavern.
Yes, he could. He's actually part of the speculation. He might even be crossing to Arua Hill. That rumor is also that speculation is right.
Away from Arua Hill Sports Club, we'll have to have some talk about Onduparaka Football Club. Onduparaka Football Club, as the season the league was aborted, I can confirm to you, finished 12th on the 16-team log, and that meant safety for Onduparaka Football Club, the Green Army, to stay in the Startime Uganda Premier League for the 6th season. Quite interestingly, they are preparing so well, and on the corridors, like we said, it's now a rumor, and rumors should be treated like rumors. They are also looking at adding some players and probably releasing some few, and that already tells that a lot of development is happening within the club. But on the negative side, Capon Living seems to be the biggest talking point within Onduparaka Football Club. Quite a number of clubs have shown interest, including Express Football Club, the league champions, whom reportedly have actually sat down with his agent and have agreed on a fee. I don't know how true this is, but still remains a rumor.
The speculation is all over. It seems like the chances are high he might be leaving, but he still has 1 year contract. He could buy it out.
Okay.
Or for the first time in Onduparaka's history, they will try to cash on a player. By the way, ever since Arua came to the league, they have never cashed on a player.
Mohamed Shaban left for free.
They were given,
Nafian.
They were given some small money on Mohamed Shaban. I think
I'm told they didn't want the money. Exactly.
They have never
so Toha Rashid left for free. Gaddafi Wahab for free. Olega Caesar left for free. Amaku Fred, the same story. Anyama Richard, yes. Rajab Kakoza, yes. Gaddafi Gadino, the same story. Bad omen.
They have never cashed on any player.
Wow.
The only opportunity they could cash on probably is this the Gabon living.
How much do you rate Gabon living if you are to actually cost him in the market?
Gabon living played the league, scored 12 goals for Onduparaka, has been the player carrying up the mantle ever since he came back from Paida Black Angels. You would rate, he's the star player at Onduparaka, so Onduparaka would rate him close to 50 million Ugandan shillings.
Okay.
That is if you add other factors, Ugandan market and what, you would rate him around there.
And factors like COVID also coming in the mix.
Yes, it's subject to negotiations, if at all they will sit on the table. But what you're saying is quite true. I think Gabon living will create a vacuum. Surely he has marketed himself well in the league. He has carried on.
Quite interesting.
Interesting for them, I should say. But also, I know for a fact that there are a couple of players whose contracts have also run out at the green light side of things.
My question will be, if in case Capon Living leaves on Onduparaka Football Club, what will it mean to the team ahead of next season?
It will mean they need to look for different talisman. The immediate successor would be Gabriel Matata, but he signed a 1 year contract, which probably has come to the end of the season. So those are some of the issues. But naturally, you would think he's the next talisman for this club.
Quite interesting. As we all know, Uganda is preparing to have a friendly game with Saudi Arabia today. They did have the other time the first friendly, which ended on a goalless draw. And this time we're talking about the under-23 and probably the team that is preparing to challenge for the Sekafa Challenge Cup. And interestingly, it is Mori Biekwaso, the man who actually took Uganda Cobs into the finals of the AFCON under-20, for which probably a lot of credit was being approached. But interestingly, some players were able to market themselves, which included Derek Akoza, who was a top scorer for the under-20, and he's already on his way to Belgium. That is probably a big news in there for the Ugandans or the viewers who are actually getting us right now. Talking about the Uganda under-20, I mean probably the team that is preparing to play from the 17th of July in the Sekafa Challenge Cup. Is it time to market Ugandan players outside? Because I'm seeing this probably is going down to history. On record, the first time Uganda or a Ugandan team probably representing Uganda is moving outside Africa. This has never been the case.
The issue is about, football. In the past, we did not commercialize football. I should tell you the best opportunity for Uganda to market a couple of players was when Leo Adra was in charge.
Okay.
I remember the Olympics where they went to South Africa, the games where Andrew Fimbo Mukasa had a weird stints there, the likes of Wilbur Bamsika. There were a couple of fantastic Ugandan players at that time when Leo Adra was in charge. They didn't market themselves very well. We did not understand the nitty-gritties of football and marketing. Right now is the time. That's why you talk about Derek Akoza moving. One of the best players is still there. I anticipate he might move. Isma Mugulusi of Busoga United.
He's actually moving to Vipers, according to reports.
Fantastic player. Even Vipers, for me, I think it's a short move. He might go. There's the youngster from KCCA.
KCC has
is called
actually they have Sam Senyonjo who is in the team. They have Stephen Serwada who is in the team.
Is touted to also move out of the country.
Yes.
There's Ramadan.
There's Musa Ramadan. Then in that team you have Bobosi Biarohanga. So then the same team has Vipers, one of the best players at Vipers right now, Abdulaziz Kayondo. And then you have Abdul Karim Watambala is in the team.
These are players.
And then Stephen Mutual of Yora also is in the team.
These are players you think probably, of course the old man is Shafiq Kajimu, I think he's part of the team. But you think these youngsters
Shafiq Kajimu I think isn't in the team, but you have Said Cheyine, who is actually not attached to any club right now.
I think they want to just give him playing time and I also tried to market.
A kind of marketing.
He marketed himself well with that fantastic scream I had in the Chan Championship, which sent him to Sudan. Eventually, his contract was terminated. For me, I think that's an opportunity to market the players because most scouts are out there. The 0-0 draw they played was interesting. It was good, but this time round, I think they will have an opportunity to market themselves more. For me, that's what I think is going to happen for that side. That already said, for me, it's as you've said, it's more of Ugandans are now understanding the nitty-gritty of football business, marketing these players out. And we've seen it happen with our own Mustafa Chiza. The games, the CAF championships, marketed him very well. He now rubs shoulders with the big boys. For me, that's the beauty of Ugandan football at this point.
Quite interesting. Of course, we are still very thankful to you for being part of the viewership and probably being with Rhino TV. And like I said, you are catching us live from Ochiba Coastal Town, and Westnile is where we are. Of course, Evergreen Home, where you'll continue to enjoy good sports. You will actually, of course, the best that you can ever have. Of course, Kenneth, we appreciate. Thank you very much, our producer for the show, for being right there, actually making sure everything is in the right state. And as well as Sydney, FET, thank you very much. And Babu, Michael, Adibo, Gilbert, we also appreciate. Thank you very much. Otelul Vegas is missing tonight, but we expect to see him probably tomorrow. If not, maybe anytime one of these days, he will be making a comeback and he will be in the studio with us. Let's move away from the African football now. As we all know, the talk right now is in the Euros. Of course, the Euro 2020. The other day, I was in one of the local radios. I did say, particularly I was on Arua 1, and I said, Euro 2020, somebody called, was like, is it 2020 or 2021? I said, no, it's still Euro 2020. So at the end of the day, it confuses many people, including Hassan, the big brother. Thank you for the confusion, but it's been clarified. It is still Euro 2020. Exactly. Otherwise, the talk is about the semi-finals now. There are probably surprise packages. There are some kind of football that has been played. Not many people expected some of the countries to display that kind of performances. Uganda will be up against Denmark. Remember, Denmark started their campaign on a very bad...
Uganda?
I mean, Denmark will be up against England. Yeah. Sorry, Ugandans will forgive me because we can't play Euro. We can only play AFCON. But I'm talking about Denmark up against England. If you look at the English team, probably they have not conceded any goal. Then they're coming up against a side that actually started the league on a very low note, if you may say, losing their first game in the hands of Finland. And this was after one of their players in Christian Eriksen, who actually collapsed in the pitch. So probably some people think the mental issues and against psychologically they were affected, but the semi-final brings the two together. It's a hard nut to crack.
Really hard nut. When we go back to the history, actually when you look at the history favors Denmark. Denmark has always got the better of the Englishmen. And they displayed good football, which I didn't expect from them. First of all, in the quarterfinals.
Are they playing for Christian Eriksen, or it is the Den team doing it?
Christian Eriksen factor plays, but the Christian Eriksen factor has brought in the team unity, has brought the nation together. And that's how you see in their display. When they were beating the other day Czech Republic, you saw they had fantastic goals. You'd see the team build up. So I think they are a team to look out for. I didn't see them as a dark horse. The dark horse for me in the league was Ukraine. Eventually they went out in a very strange way. They are beaten so many goals. But the dark horse for me went out. They are the underdogs. The Danes come here as underdogs, not a dark horse.
Yeah.
They come here as the underdogs, but when you look at the history between these two countries, pedigree favors Denmark. You may think Denmark might be able to beat England based on pedigree. That left, but also the English, as you've said, the records seem to be they're not conceding anyhow, and the momentum is growing. The talk has been Harry Kane. Harry Kane has come back to the limelight. He's scoring the goals, not to be taken away by the English media hype. I think the team is improving day by day. But against the Danes, it is something worth to talk about. Honestly, when you ask me, my cards on Ukraine. Ukraine was humbled by the English. I think it's good. It will be a fierce battle between the Danes and the English. But I think the English are proving themselves every day. You think they're not going far? Jordan Sancho is proving himself. Harry Maguire is proving himself. Harry Kane is scoring the goals. All Manchester United fans, I think 80%, look at their own captain trying to lead by example, also having got himself on the score sheet.
Harry Maguire.
Harry Maguire. I think generally the English are gaining the momentum. But I think the Danes have also done very well to keep them at that level where they are. So for me, I think it's a 50-50, but pedigree will favor the Danes.
I want us to look at Jadon Sancho in particular. This is a lad who started the season, or probably the league, on the bench. He was more like a bench warmer every time for the English team. You probably cannot understand what Gareth Southgate was up to, but looking at the last game, he was one of their best players in the pitch. Do you attribute that to the contract issues that he had now that he has agreed a deal? Borussia Dortmund, the Signal Iduna Park outfit, and Manchester United have reached an agreement in principle. Was Southgate waiting for such kind of stuff?
He knows where he belongs now. He knows his belonging. He knows which team he belongs to. That certainty makes you relaxed in a tournament. You know, football is also about having no other issues around you, concentration on the game. I think that has given him more time to concentrate. But also, there's the Bukayo Saka factor. Yeah. He has been fantastic for Arsenal. A lot of people believed in him. They think he's the man. I think there was a lot of belief in him. And there was a headache for Gareth Southgate. He has a lot of headache there. But putting in Sancho, I think after his display, Bukayo might be a bench material. Because there have been, even you'll ask your question, the question of Jack Grealish. Anderson is back. He scored the other day. Gareth Southgate has a lot of decision-making headaches, especially with the kind of players he has in the team and the quality they are displaying.
Let's talk about the midfield. Calvin Phillips, the Leeds United midfielder, is proving to be somebody else. And the other day, teaming up with Declan Rice of West Ham United, I thought was something. What is coming up there? What is that chemistry all about?
And they were enjoying because Henderson was he was injured a bit. His match fitness was not there. Henderson is back. But we're not even talking about the strikers. There's this Calvert-Lewin guy.
Yeah, the Everton striker.
Who has been good in the Premier League. He has no playing time. Southgate has more.
Marcus Rashford is still on the bench.
He has more faith in.
You have Jude Bellingham, who is starting on the bench.
On the bench. So for me,
there's a certain Ben White, a target for Arsenal,
still on the bench.
Interesting.
So there's not the headache in the middle. There's a headache to appease all the players. And Southgate has tried to pull out all the best English players. He has them at his disposal. But now, how to appease them? That is where the problem comes.
You, the viewer, you can actually continue to drop your comments on Facebook and as well on Twitter. Remember, you can actually subscribe to our YouTube channel, that is Rhino TV. You will be in position to catch us live, and actually, you can drop your comment there. Then, in case it is a question, we'll be responding to it in the course of the show, maybe towards the end of the show. Italy up against Spain is another game in the semi-final. Remember, the finals will be seeing the cream de la creams meeting. But this time down, Italy can never reach finals before going past Spain, just vice versa.
Yeah, you know, Italy has been a team, even in the group stages, I think they were a team which was lacking. I thought they wouldn't go very far. The display they had against the Belgians was something different.
Okay.
The urgency.
What is making that up? Is it Roberto Mancini factor? Is it time that they had seen transition?
But also the defensive display of Cellini and
Leonardo Bonucci and Giorgio Cellini.
Then you'll give credit to this young man. I feel so bad he's not going to play.
Spinazzola
is not there in the team. He was a revelation for me. One of the revelations in Euro 2020. Been good. Unfortunately, he wouldn't be there. I'm so disappointed in that. But he was one of the guys who was making those runs. He was fantastic. The central defense was good. Then you would give credit to the giant goalkeeper, Donnarumma, and for he is on a free transfer going to PSG. You cannot imagine how good he was. So and then you should give credit to the likes of Insua, even up front, the men leading the line. Jorginho in the middle there. The Brazilians must be pinching themselves how they would allow their own nationalized now Italian. Fantastic display in the middle there. And the Italians at this point, they forgot about their Catanaccio. You would see the Italians string the short 1-2 passes. I thought it was a fantastic display, especially on the route to the semi-finals. They displayed very good football. I should say I was very impressed by the Italians. They give a lot of pressure on a Spanish team whom I thought are supposed to be favorites. And
Belgium.
The Spanish teams whom I thought were favorites.
Yeah.
You know. But the way they have displayed their football, even up to when they won through the penalty shootouts, they are a team I think Italy might have an easy pass through. Enrique has a lot of issues to handle. First of all, Busquets is not playing the best of his football, and you would think he was the man who was going to anchor, given the fact that he has the captain's armband with him. He has not lived to the billing. You talk about Ferran Torres working, making at Man City. You thought he would lead the lines. Alvaro Moratas of this world. They're not displaying. You see Flemishes, Koki is on and off on the pitch. You're not seeing Jordi Alba make those runs he makes at Barcelona. Does he miss Lionel Messi? Kind of telepathic relationship? Those are all questions. Generally, the Spanish team, sometimes 1-2 minutes they're playing tic-tac, the other times they're forgetting the tic-tac style.
Is it the Real Madrid factor? Because for the first time in their history, a Spanish team probably without a Real Madrid player.
And I don't think it's the Real Madrid factor. I think it's a factor of transition. The Spanish team is in a transitional phase.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Enrique has not managed to balance the aging players with the youngsters. This hasn't happened. For some of us who watch a lot of Copa del Rey, you're seeing this transition happen in Uruguay. You have the old lads.
The Copa America.
The Copa America. You're seeing the Suarez. You're seing the likes
the
of
Edinson Cavani's.
There's a youngster who is coming up. And then when you go to Argentina, you see there's the Rodriguez de Paul. They are coming up. The Lautaro Martinez, Messi is providing some kind of leadership. This is lacking with the Spanish team. The flair, he has put in a lot of youngsters there, for me, who are not living to the billing.
Quite interesting, and I'm seeing many comments already coming via our Rhino TV Facebook page. Keep them coming. We'll be reading through and probably respond to some of your questions. And I'm seeing Babu Michael watching. Want to appreciate and thank you very much for being one of our viewers this very morning, and many others who are actually catching us live. We will be able to read through some of your comments as our social media manager also is working all round clock to make sure some of your comments and messages are being retrieved so that we'll be able to respond to some of them. Otherwise, one other interesting thing, probably, remember the transfers is another big segment that we're going to be discussing. And as we'll be heading to the transfers, I would still want to have something in the Euros. If you look at the games that are remaining, of course, you have Spain up against Italy, then you have Denmark up against England. What do you see in the finals? What do you picture?
I see Italy in the finals. That one for me is a given.
Yeah.
Unless Spain changes something, but I see Italy in the finals. Denmark, England is a very difficult call, honestly.
So somebody said England.
My fantasies would give me Denmark, Italy final, because my fantasy also tells me, or my thoughts tell me, England, Italy final seems to be a done deal. It will be an Italian cup.
I can confirm that Hotel Vegas has just dropped in a message here. He's saying, thank you very much, guys. He's actually following the show. And he's saying the media in England talks about the English players in English. People think that the English players are being overhyped. Meanwhile, in Spain, it is the Spanish that is used, which the Africans, the Ugandans, the Westnilers, the East Africans, and the Aruas do not actually understand. So for that reason, they think it is only England that is being overhyped in the media, not knowing or forgetting that in Italy, they do speak in Italiano, which the people there probably speak loud about the players, but we don't get it here. Then the Spanish do the same, the Germans do the same, even in South America it's the same
story. The argument is here that they have marketed themselves more than all these other countries. So you talk about the Spanish league, they have not marketed themselves very well. You talk about the Italian league, they have not marketed themselves very well. So the English have marketed themselves very well.
Does that give anyone the authority to say that England is being overrated?
Because it's kind of the mainstream media everyone is consuming. The English are talking about their players, and it's like most outlets get it through them. So you realize they'll be talking about their own. Just imagine, you guys were born recently, isn't it? You guys were born the other day. When we were growing up,
somebody in 80s cannot be recent.
When we were growing up,
yes,
there was what was said that
was in 60s.
Football made in Germany.
Yeah.
Football made in Germany. There was a channel called Coil. You would only see Bundesliga. At that time, you will talk about Matthias Luthers. You will talk about Stephen Effenbergs.
The Gerd Müllers.
You wouldn't talk about George Best. Times have changed. All of a sudden, in Ugandan mainstream media talks about the English league.
But that time there was a certain Alan Shearer who was doing great job. There was Gary Lineker.
They were not mainstream in Ugandan media. At that time, I was still young, but those weren't the names.
Okay.
That's why I'm telling you, for me, even when I was still.
How old are you now?
Good years. I'm probably in the third half of the third quarter.
Interesting. Otherwise, I don't want to continue with that discussion, and we'll be probably moving into the transfers. And I want to say that the transfer, like my colleague Bazali said earlier, is heating up. Quite a number of talks have been done. Liverpool Football Club having lost one player in Wijnaldum, the talk continues. Who is going to be the player to step in? They showed interest in John McGinn of Aston Villa, but that will be reserved for another day. I want us to look at Arsenal Football Club. Interestingly, Willian, whom many said was a good acquisition from Chelsea, did not perform to the expectation, and they are willing to release him, probably let go him to any other club, but the clubs are backing off, saying that the wage demands are too high.
William came with a lot of prospects. Everyone thought he would fill in the number 10 role. The fantasy was he replaces Mesut Ozil.
Okay.
He didn't live to the billing. Generally, when your market value drops, who wants you? No one wants you, however good you are. So I think with the drop in his market value and his wages are abnormal, not unless he accepts wage cuts, that's when he will remain valuable. We've seen that with Mario Balotelli, fantastic talent and manageable. He had to, when he went to Brescia, he had to agree some cuts in his wages. That's when you'll get a club. But as long as you still hype your value, then clubs will run away from you because your wage demands will be abnormal. I am not surprised teams are shying off him. But his talent, which is at the waning stages of their career.
If you look at the transfer in particularly the Premier League, it is bringing a lot more stories this very morning, and I can tell you that at Chelsea Football Club, the two biggest names surfacing this morning are Erling Braut Haaland of Borussia Dortmund. He is so quite serious that the deal at Chelsea might push through. But remember, he also has interest from Real Madrid. Paris Saint-Germain showed interest in him. Matches, they have people like Mauro Icardi. They still have Kylian Mbappe at their disposal. Neymar Jr. is still there, but the talk of Erling Braut Haaland, he seems to be the hottest cake in the market right now. But Chelsea boss Roman Abramovich is willing, and he clearly stated that they may be able to sit down with Borussia Dortmund and agree on a fee. This is after they lost Jadon Sancho to Manchester United.
You would want to say that the Russian Oleg can afford him. He has the money, could afford him. But all and everyone knows he's the most sensational striker around. Has the height, has the power, has the pace. Statistics are on his side.
And he's young.
He's young. He has scored the goals. He just came to the Bundesliga the other day. He has broken amazing records in the domestic league. Leave for Lewandowski taking also breaking some records. Of course, Lewandowski has had a fantastic run, more than 35 goals in the season. But Braut Haaland has done amazing. In the short spell he has played the games, he has scored abnormal goals, and everyone thinks, yes, he could be the right man to lead the lines at Chelsea. The fact that Chelsea are European champions, they could afford to have such quality of player in their ranks. That fact already said Sancho to Manchester United. I think Chelsea would also want to make a name. They would want to make a statement. Holland going to PSG would be something of good value. Neymar, Kylian Mbappe, I'm told he doesn't want contract extensions.
Yeah, there's likelihood of him moving to Santiago Bernabeu.
He's also looking at his future. So I think that the speculation about this youngster makes for me a lot of sense. But the question is, at Chelsea, strikers have never flourished. You remember Andrei Shevchenko came...
It's on record, probably the history tells that Chelsea bought in some highly respected strikers, which included Andrei Shevchenko, the current man for Ukraine. Then they brought in Adrian Mutu. There was a certain Mateja Kezman who came through. Then
there was a Samuel Eto'o who made
a brief stint, yeah. That tells a lot. The underrated Olivier Giroud also proved something. The Fernandes Torres from Liverpool moving there. But if you look at the talk, how good is Erling Braut Haaland for the English Premier League? Because he's from the German Bundesliga, and before the German Bundesliga, he was with the Austrian League, which plays, just exactly like the Bundesliga, attacking football.
First of all, you've seen him for the national team.
And Chelsea still have Timo Werner.
Yes, Timo Werner has failed to live to the billing. That he's one of the strikers, actually. If you add him on the list,
okay,
he has failed to live to the billing.
Interesting.
He came very hot. Okay, his work rate is good, but it's about the number of goals. He was brought to score.
Because strikers are measured by the number of goals.
Not to work. True. Not to do the donkey work.
Because there's somebody for that work.
Yes, the Encantes are doing the donkey work. Nick the ball behind the net and which he hasn't done. So I think they want someone who can do that. They need the Premier League also needs physique. There's a lot of physique in the Premier League.
The physical, attribute probably.
Yes, this youngster has it. You need pace. The youngster has the pace.
Liverpool brought in Fernando Morientes, who was lanky, physically imposed, but did nothing.
It depends. Also, that's the point I'm coming to. Also, the style of play matters. You remember there was a lanky Peter Crouch.
Yeah.
Scored amazing goals for Liverpool, isn't it? Went to a couple of teams. It's how the balls were coming. You'll talk about a Ruud van Nistelrooy. Ruud van Nistelrooy flourished very well in Manchester United and Real Madrid because of the swingings of the likes of David Beckham. So Braut Haaland flourishes on space and power. If that is not there, then he will not be able to live to the billing. At Manchester United, there's also the disease. Why you see Edinson Cavani is doing very well at Manchester United? He knows how much, he has fitted well in the style of Manchester United. Some of the players at Manchester United are not playing very well because of the style of football they are in. So my issue with the Chelsea would be, how will they fit him to play? Will the team play for him? And that's why the problem Timo Werner is struggling at Chelsea.
Interesting.
The style doesn't accommodate him. It's just like the same thing. You will bring a Kun Aguero to another team and he will not flourish. A Carlos Tevez flourished at Manchester United because of some kind, the football style suits him. But when you bring a player like Braut Haaland and the style doesn't suit him, he will never score for you those goals you want.
Wow, thank you very much. And we still continue. We have like 7 minutes or 10 to actually conclude the show. But before we do that, or probably come to completion, we also want to appreciate some people. Dr. Adnan, thank you very much, all the way from Yumbe for following. Habib Hassan Muria from IU Islamic University in Uganda, thank you very much for following the show very, very closely. Engineer Oloya Wilberforce, thank you very much for us well being part of this show. Sanu Doris, we appreciate Trinity for you guys always being a part of the team and as well following the show very, very closely. And if the viewer, like I said, you can continue to advertise with us, but we're still going on with the transfers. I'm seeing some questions actually coming through here, but we'll be responding to some of them. Dr. Adnan is asking, what are the chances of Mohamed Shaban joining Arua Hill Sports Club? An interesting question. Mohamed Shaban is still with Vipers Sports Club. Matters there was a talk of suspension, but he still belongs to Vipers. And still, remember, they are yet to appoint their full-time manager.
He's back in training, actually. He's training. The word that has it is within the city, by the way.
Yeah, within Arua.
He's within Arua. He's a Vipers player. He has 1 year contract left, so anything can happen.
Okay.
He could, if Murinda wants to cash in, this is the right time to cash on him, because if things go on next season, he might go on a free transfer.
Bossman ruling.
So you would want to make money. So the chances of coming to Arua Hill is possible.
Okay.
I think it's dependent on who the coach will be at Arua Hill.
Interesting. A question here from a Tottenham Hotspurs fan, Morris Wagaluka. Thank you very much, Morris. I meant to understand you were involved in an accident, but quick recovery and hope you get back fit. But thank you very much for following the show all the way from Super Rose. He's asking a question. If Hurricane concludes the Euro 2020 and probably comes back to Tottenham Hotspurs, will they be able to work with the current manager, Nuno Espirito Santo? And how good do we expect Nuno Espirito Santos to fare for Team Tottenham Hotspurs?
Proven coach. You have seen him in the Premier League. He has done fantastic with Wolves, I think.
Yeah.
He has been fantastic with Wolves. He built up a team. Honestly, I was also surprised that he was a choice for Tottenham. I had other options, but he's a good manager. He has proven himself. He has tried to keep Wolves in the top 6 pack or top 8 pack for quite a long time. Given the financial mass at Tottenham Hotspurs, Daniel Levy, if he gives him the opportunity, I think he might put Harry Kane into a better player. We have seen the players he has built. He has built Adama Traore. I don't know whether he will move with his Portuguese contingent. He had a huge Portuguese contingent there.
Yeah.
In his fold. So for me, I think
the Yao Motinos of this world.
He has a good addition. He's a good manager, but time will prove. Tottenham, Daniel Levy doesn't give a lot of time to settle. That is why.
No time for one to settle at Tottenham Hotspurs, according to Walter Bazzali. And as we come to the close of the show, a few transfer speculations also making rounds this very morning. We also want to bring to your attention that Arsenal Football Club have actually agreed a deal, probably a fee, with Benfica for Nuno Tavares. Meanwhile, Billy Gilmour of Chelsea did join Norwich City on a season-long loan deal. And we also expect probably to see more deals are coming through. For example, we did see Leicester City announcing 2 signings, one in Patson Daka of Zambia. Then they brought in Bubakari Samoa, who actually also joined the club. Meanwhile, Manchester United have shown interest in Eduardo Camavinga, who plays for Rhino. He's a very young, talented footballer who plays for the junior team or the junior setup with Le Bleu, that is the Blues, the French national team. Some rumor also is telling us that Chelsea Football Club have also shown interest in Moreno of Villarreal, who currently is featuring for Spain in the Euro 2020. Away from England, there is a talk of Kylian Mbappe, like we hinted early, moving to Santiago Bernabeu is another big talk that probably will be having to digest at length when the right time comes. Barcelona seems to be ready to renew their interest in Lautaro Martinez. His teammate, that is the bulldozer for Belgium, Romelu Lukaku, is telling him we should stay put and probably win a back-to-back Scudetto with Internazionale. Away from that, there is a talk of Arsenal Football Club actually pushing closer, probably rearranging a talk with Brighton and Hove Albion for their central defender, who is currently doing it with the English national team, or the Three Lions, in the Euro 2020, that is Ben White. There is a talk of Liverpool, a football club, also showing interest, like I hinted early, in John McGinn, but that has never stopped them from talking about more transfers. One of the notable names that has surfaced this morning is Eder Militao of Real Madrid, whom they also want to get, but whether they will get him or not is going to be a discussion for another day. Tottenham Hotspurs have clearly indicated that they are willing to probably support or back their new manager, that is Nuno Espirito Santo, with Daniel Levy sending him a transfer kitty to make sure he brings in new players. Moving to Merseyside derby, Merseyside, where probably we expect a derby between Liverpool and Everton Football Club. Everton Football Club did announce the appointment of former Liverpool manager, that is Rafa Benitez, who worked with very many clubs, including Chelsea Football Club, and also was in China, now at Goodison Park. There was a harsh reception that he received at Everton Football Club, but the boss of the club, that is Farhadin Moshiri, clearly stated that the money is there to be spent. Remember, some players are also likely to leave Everton Football Club, which probably will include James Rodriguez, who plays for Colombia. These are some of the transfer speculations that we felt we should be able to bring to your attention this morning, unless if Walter has some more to add. But otherwise, time seems to be ticking.
Yeah, surely time is ticking. Maybe the next transfer speculation is when I'll start growing a beard like you.
Wow. It's interesting. I'm glad that my haters, my enemies, are beginning to admire my beards. I think it's beautiful. That comes with it comes with the aspect of marriage. I am newly married, and it is giving things that fail to grow in me to come. Very soon I might look like Kenneth, I might look like Otelul in the near future, probably develop the bush. I call it a bush. It's expected to be a good week as well. Tomorrow we'll be here.
Yeah, tomorrow we'll be here. It's a good week.
I'm told you have travels.
Yeah, essential workers, you know this.
I know. Otherwise, thank you very much. We've come to the end of our show, and we'll probably catch up again tomorrow morning from 10 to 11. Remember, today we have taken the show beyond 11. Why? Because we started a little bit late, because there was a technical hiccup. But we're back stronger. You will not call us Westnile TV, but we are Rhino. Hope to catch up again, and have the best of the day.